All right, guys, I think we will go ahead and get started. Since there aren't very many of us on this live call, if you have any questions, just let me know. I am going to be recording this though, so that we can also send it out to any of our partners in education that couldn't join us today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This is the Zoom crash course. Now, a question that I get a lot is, do I have to download Zoom? Some school districts, some companies have IT blocks where you can't download any extra software, but that's okay. To use Zoom, you don't have to download anything. You can use it right from the web browser of your choice, from Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, anything like that. Or to really take full advantage of what the system has to offer, then I do recommend going to the Download Center for Zoom and go ahead and download this. I have a couple of screenshots here. If you want to open it just in your browser, you can click cancel and it'll open right there. Or if you click open Zoom, it will take you to the download screen as well. So can use it a variety of ways. The other question I get is, do you have to create a Zoom account? No, but I definitely recommend it. So you can sign up for free. Whenever you sign up for an account, it's going to save your settings, your preferences. You can add a profile picture if you want. You'll notice that ours is a lion and not just my initials. And then I can also customize what I see and how I show up in my name. So I definitely recommend signing up for that Zoom, and it's also easier on us to track attendance. So that's cool too. But like I said, that's free, just like you would set up an account on any other website. Type in your email address, make up a password, that kind of stuff. Turning the video on and off is an important thing. We definitely recommend when interacting with students that you do have your video on. It is in the bottom corner of your screen. Now, again, depending on your settings, this may be a disappearing toolbar. So you may have to move your mouse over the bottom of your screen to see this pop up. But you'll see it over here, the stop video button. If it has a red line through it, then the video is not going, like a red X, think of stop. And then the video, if you want to stop it, then you click here. And then there are also some other options that you can access through this caret right here. But if you see the red line through your video, through your microphone, then you know, okay, they can't see me and they can't hear me. So then the sound is the next one. We definitely recommend, participants are usually muted unless they are actively talking. And again, it's down here in the bottom. And it's going to work just like that camera. With that red line through it, you know that you are muted and you have to click it to unmute. And then conversely, if you want to mute yourself, so you need to clear your throat or take a drink or your phone rings or something like that, you can just click that button and that will turn off your sound. And usually everybody will pretty much have that as their default setting, but sometimes you may need to ask a student or a participant to go ahead and mute themselves. This is a really fun one, the background. So you can only use the background if you have the desktop client. You cannot use it from the web browser. You can kind of see in my camera, I just have it blurry. So you can't see all the junk on my wall behind me. You can use any type of picture that you want, fun ones. You can use a school logo, a mascot, something like that. And you can do that by following these steps. From your main Zoom login page, you're going to click on the little gear, settings. From there, it'll bring up a new window. And in that window, you can click on background and filters, and you can choose which virtual background you want. And you can also add whatever one you want if you don't want to use one of theirs. You can add an image, just like you would attach a file to an email or something like that. You're just going to click open, click on the file, and then click open. And that'll add it into your doc right here so that you can choose that and have that be your background. Now, the experts on this are not me. I know quite a bit, but I don't know everything. And there is a Zoom virtual background article on this. If you Googled Zoom virtual background, it'll take you right to this website as well. But they can walk you through some of the finer nuances of that. But the background is a really great way in lieu of being in an in-person event where you can have flyers on your table, you can have banners, posters, things like that. That virtual background is a good way that you can sort of showcase some school spirit or a logo or some company spirit with that. So plus it's just kind of fun, you know, to have a little bit of color in the background. All right, now here's really kind of where the bread and butter of these events come into place, and that's your breakout room. So in an in-person event, you sort of have your own table, your own little space, your bubble that you can have those conversations in. In the virtual world, you're going to be in a breakout room. And this is a room completely by yourself, where it will just be you and whatever recruiters you have with you. The cool thing about it is there's not really a limit to it. So you can have 4 or 5 representatives in there, whereas maybe in person you just have 1 or 2. And there are 2 ways to join a breakout room, depending on which version of Zoom you have. I think mostly everyone has updated to the new way. But just in case you haven't, we'll walk through those steps as well. You will be assigned to your breakout room by the host, and that host will be Career Services for these events. So we will say, okay, I need Jane Smith to go to breakout room 1, click go, and then you will see these pop-ups on your screen. It will ask you to make sure that you want to join. Then you'll travel, and then you'll be in the breakout room. So you will need to make sure that you click that join button in order to be actively participating where you need to. Or the other way is that you can self-select your breakout room. And again, it's going to be on that toolbar at the bottom. Over here, you'll see like the mute and the video, and then more over towards the right, you'll see that breakout rooms button. It kind of looks like a window, I think, 4 little boxes. And if you hover over that or click on it, it'll ask you if you want to join a breakout room. And then it will have a list of the breakout rooms there. Now, these will typically, event days, be named with the name of your organization or school district. They won't be just this general label. You'll go down, find which one you need to be in, and click that join button, and you'll go, and then you'll get in the room as well. So if you can't get in there yourself using this method, then we can't assign you. You just need to let us know through the chat. So either way, you will be taken care of and you'll get into that breakout room. So once we're there, what do we do? Well, you're going to be in that breakout room for the duration of your event, just kind of like you would be at your table for the entire event. As an employer, it'll be important for you to monitor your breakout room participant list. With the nature of this event, you may not have a student in your room at all times. You may go, 5 minutes or so, just kind of in there by yourself. So it's important that you monitor that list of participants. And again, this is on that bottom menu dock. The camera, stop video, mute is over here. And then participants, looks like little peoples. You'll see that, and then you can click on that. I click on that, and then this window pops up with the participants in there, so I can see who all is in there. Here's the host, here's me, students' names, things like that. So it's just a really good way to kind of get the feel, see who's in there. And then in addition to interacting through video and through audio, which we're doing right now, you can also chat with students or alumni in your breakout room. And again, it's along that bottom dock. Next to the participants, you'll see that chat window, and then it'll appear in this pop-up box. So when you are in Zoom, you basically just have your one screen with your video. The chat and the participants list will pop up on top of that. So it may be blocking your view or something, but you can click on these, you can drag them, move them around. If you have a 2-screen setup, you can have the Zoom room on one screen and your participants and the chat room on another screen. That's what I'm doing currently. But if you don't have a double monitor, or you're on your laptop or something like that, you can put these into the meeting window so that you can see everything at once and nothing's covering anything else up. And you do that, once you have these windows open, you'll see the 3 little dots. It's usually a menu for something else that you can bring up. Within each of those, you just click those three dots and you can click to merge meeting window. And that's just going to put it over here on the right-hand side of the screen. So then I'll have the screen here where I'll be interacting with students, alumni, and then I can see who is in my room, and then I can also be chatting with them at the same time. Something that's important to remember is that a student may be in here participating, but maybe they are not in a quiet space, so they're not able to turn their volume on or their microphone on, so they can only chat with you. They might not have a background or a device enabled with a camera to where they can have their video on. So although we do encourage you as the recruiter, as the representative, to have video and audio on, please just keep in mind students sometimes have different circumstances than us, so they may only be participating through chat or maybe only through audio, no video. So it makes things maybe a little bit more weird on our end, but we definitely want to be accommodating to those students and meet them where they're at. So this is a good way. I just kind of like to see everything all at once. So this is one of my favorite ways when I'm on my laptop to interact. Now, I've been talking about this chat window, but how do you chat with people? Well, once you pop up your chat meeting window, this dialog box appears, and the default chat setting is to everyone. So if you were trying to whisper to somebody next to you in a meeting, but you accidentally said it out loud for everybody to hear, that's kind of what the chat defaults to. There is that drop-down menu where you can pick and choose who you want to talk to. So let's say in your Zoom room, you have yourself and two other representatives, and you need to talk to Stacy to see if she's ready to take her lunch. You can click on that drop-down menu, click on Stacy's name, and then send her a private message. Otherwise, the message goes to everyone, and everyone can read it and everyone can save it. So definitely make sure if you're trying to say something maybe a little bit more sensitive or personal or private, that you just double check that to line and see who you are chatting to. Something else that you can also do within the chat is send files and information packets. So again, in an in-person event, you can have a table with handouts, brochures, and give those to students. But virtually, we can't really do that. But we do have that file share button where you can send them PDFs, electronic resources, things like that. I know a lot of students may be interested in the pay schedule for your particular school district. So that's a good way that you could send them that file. There must be a file size limit. I haven't met it yet, so it must be pretty big. But if for some reason it's just not letting you send that, you can email it to us and we can disseminate that to the students participating as well. Okay, so this is something new for this event where we're going to allow you to share your screen. Again, in person, it's easy to show visual aids, but on the internet and the interwebs, we need to have a virtual presentation, and that's what you're going to do through the share screen button. And this is literally what I'm doing right now. I made a PowerPoint. I said, okay, play my PowerPoint, and then I did the share screen. So again, this is going to be along that dock that pops up on the bottom for you. And share screen is bright green, pretty easy to find. It's always kind of right in the middle, so my eyes tend to gravitate towards that. And I want to point out, I want to make sure that you click share screen, the button, and not the little up arrow or the little caret beside it, because all that's going to do is bring up some menu items. That's not actually going to do anything for you. So you want to click right in that green space here. And then it will pop up and say, hey, which screen do you want to share? And I had way too many things up that day. And that can just get confusing. And oh man, it'd be really embarrassing if I shared the wrong thing. So I tend to, not this day, but make sure that I close everything out except for maybe Zoom and PowerPoint. And then I can make sure that I only give them the chance to see what they need to see. Now, there are some other things that you can do. You can share your computer sound if you want to maybe play some music in the background. If you have an embedded YouTube clip or video within your presentation, I would definitely make sure that you click that optimize screen for sharing video clip. Otherwise, it gets pretty jumpy. And then once you decide what you want to share, you just need to click that blue share button, and then you'll see it on the screen just like you are right now. once you do that, I just wanted to point out that what I've been talking about, that menu bar that it looks at the bottom of your screen, it actually moves up to the top of your screen now. And again, it's going to look pretty much the exact same way. Mute, start video, we've talked about those. The participants list, share, and then just because I was screenshotting this, it paused it. But this is basically what it's going to look like. When you are sharing your screen, this will be green and it will say you are screen sharing. And that way you kind of know, like, yeah, I'm live, I'm on air. So this will be green, and I think it's easy to remember that this is green sharing because you click on that green button. You can also annotate. Works kind of like a whiteboard online. You can circle, draw an arrow, that kind of stuff. Inevitably, with technology, something is going to go wrong. Happens to all of us, happens to the best of us. If you need help during our event, there are a few different things that you can do to get a hold of us. You can click again on that breakout rooms button, that sort of windowy button, and click the ask for help option. And then you can invite the host to your room. And that kind of gives us a flag on the administrative side to say, oh, hey, Jane Doe in Joplin Schools needs a little bit of help. So we can send an administrative person in there to give you some help. Now, a lot of times what you will see is me clicking deny. That's just because since I'm kind of at the helm of the ship, I'm running things, I can't necessarily leave that. But we will have a career services staff member come in and assist you. So just know if you see this, sit tight because we are still going to help you. It just may not be me, it may be my colleagues. So that's one way that you can ask for help during the meeting if you have a quick question or something like that. There are a couple of other ways to reach out to us too. You can do the good old-fashioned 1990s technology of giving us a call. This is our main office line, so we will all hear it ring. Anybody can pick it up, and that's 417-625-9343. Or maybe you're not near a phone for whatever reason, you can always shoot us a quick email, hirealine@mssu.edu. And again, we all monitor that. So we'll be quick on the ball to give you some help if you need that. So please just remember that there is that ask for help button when you are in your breakout room. You can always give us a call, you can email us, or before you go into your breakout room, if you have any last minute questions, right as you sign on, feel free to ask us then as well. Are there any questions for this live presentation? I feel like I went through that really fast. I'm kind of a fast talker, but if anybody has any questions, please feel free to send them to me in chat. Feel free to unmute yourself so you can ask and everybody can hear. But I'll kind of leave a couple of minutes here for some questions if you guys think of anything, or if I need to go back to a slide and show you again. Okay. Well, it doesn't look, oh, here we go. Okay, so she asked, we will break out to our team and those will be the group sessions with the students, correct? Yes. So I'm gonna ask the educators to log in just a few minutes early so that we can kind of get you all grouped up and send you to your respective rooms. And then from there, all you have to do is hang out. The students are gonna come to you. The students are gonna move in from room to room. So really all you need to do once you get logged in and get into your breakout room is just get ready to talk to some students. The students will be going around. Some might stay a little bit longer than others. Some might pop in and say, hey, I'm a secondary English teacher. Are you gonna have any openings? Well, no, we're not. Okay, thank you for your time. It might be quick like that. Or for those more common positions like elementary education, you'll be having some longer conversations with them. But you will be in your room with your team, and that's all you need to do. You just need to sit back and relax, and the students are going to come to you. Great question. Anything else that you guys are curious about or you want to know? If an administrator, okay, so the one bad thing, and this was something that we struggled with, in an in-person event, we can have a separate space for some private conversations. Unfortunately, in this virtual environment, that's not really feasible. So what we are encouraging administrators to do is, if you want to have a private conversation with a student, if you want to have maybe a lot of people do sort of like a quick little interview that first day. If you want to have that private conversation with the student, make sure that you get their contact information so that you can follow up with them after the event to set something up. Unfortunately, that's just one thing that we really struggled with turning an in-person event into virtual. That's one thing that didn't have sort of a one-to-one translation. So make sure you get contact information. And then after the event, after this event, the Education Career Fair, we will be sending out a resume book with everyone's resume in there. So maybe you really want to talk to somebody, but you lost the Post-it that you wrote their number on. Usually a few days after the event, you will get that resume book with everyone's contact information. So one way or another, you will have it. It will just be at your convenience to schedule something with them to follow up and talk to that student individually. Now, of course, if it's only the one student in the room, you can have a conversation like that, but just know you could be interrupted by people popping in and out. Great question. Thank you for asking questions too. I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you are curious about? Anything that I can go over again? I'll wait just a second in case anybody's typing. Okay, well, that looks like that's about it. Again, if you think of something between now and then, something pops into your head later this afternoon, please feel free to give us a call, send us an email. Again, the information's there on the screen. You know, we've been living in a digital world for about the past year, so we all need to help each other out. And yes, I'm recording the video. I'm going to get it uploaded to YouTube. Hopefully this afternoon, the file will go through, and then I'll have a link in case you need to share it with anybody else from your school. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording and screen share.